A sugar baby is a younger person who receives cash, gifts, or other financial and material benefits in exchange for company with a wealthier and older person. Sugaring is a growing trend in Australia, according to sugar baby dating site Seeking Arrangement. Last year, the site revealed that almost 180,000 uni students are sugar dating. Ladies, what are your thoughts?
I need sugar dating in my life.
Now, I want a sugar daddy without any sugar. And I jokingly say this, but this has actually kind of happened. Well, the offer has been there on Instagram. I know, Simone, I can see your face.
No, it's not Instagram.
She knows I love her Instagram. I take tips from her Instagram.
But I've never had the guts to actually see it through.
So what was the offer?
That he said he'll pay for everything that I want.
Yeah, girl.
He'll do everything I want, pay for everything, and he just wants the company. But in my head, hell no. You want more than just
Was this a local person?
Yeah.
Like it was a real offer?
I think he actually might be one of your people.
One of my cousins reached out, maybe. Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird thing. I understand why some people do it.
So a couple of years back when I first started writing for Chicas, my web series, I had sugar daddies and sugar mummies as the premise, which has changed drastically now. So I actually set up a profile on seekingarrangements.com. And I wanted to do some market research and see, okay, how does this work? Because a couple of years, 4 or 5 years back, it wasn't that big. Now everyone knows what it is. Right. I'm like, what is this stuff? I'm like, okay, so I set up a profile, I put in my thing, put in a spiel, and I hadn't put in a photo yet because everyone said you should alter your photo and just block out your eyes.
What do you mean?
As in, so that you're anonymous, but they can see you. Okay. Yeah. So I never did that, but without even having the profile photo, I was like, I'm a recovering investment banker turned actor, would love company, I love people, all this kind of stuff. And I hadn't even paid for the subscriptions to be able to reply. I got 10 messages within the first day.
Because you bad like that, girl.
I was just like, damn, what is this? And it's extreme because it's a transaction, right? Yeah. And you're giving your time to this person, and in return, they're giving you money, chocolates, very expensive handbags. You know, you want to get that memo. You're not getting chocolates.
You're getting more than chocolates.
Maybe Hermes, but anyway, it's a slippery slope. That's where I stand. It's a slippery slope for a tunnel that you may not want to go through because it enables passages of sexual discourse, sexual harassment, and rape. But any of those three things can happen. And you cannot be in control the entire time. As much as we know we're independent, beautiful women.
I spoke to a sugar baby. Her name was Lydia Dupra. I interviewed her. She's on Instagram as the Hoe Mentor.
Hey, Lydia.
So Lydia told me exactly what you're saying, Jen. It is a constant power struggle in these relationships. You already have the issues of a traditional relationship, but then you've got this constant power struggle back and forth. And then you ask, what's the difference between a sugar baby and an escort or a prostitute?
Is there a difference?
Really?
Yes, you don't have to sleep with them sometimes.
Well, you don't. Well, really, the main difference would be you don't have multiple partners. You know, with an escort or a prostitute, you're in the service industry of many different people. But as a sugar baby, you have one person you're in a transactional relationship with, and as we said, you get financial and material benefits from them in exchange for sexual favors, really. Let's call it what it is. So you have to be aware, Lydia Dupra said, the Hoe Mentor, she calls herself, because she coaches young women.
Mentor or Hoe Mentor?
H-E-A-U-X. The Hoe Mentor. She coaches young ladies on doing this, and she said that you really have to be aware of your boundaries in something like this, because sometimes as a young person, you get very sort of geeked on the money and the gifts, and then you get stuck in the relationship.
I think if you're going to do it, be smart about it too with the money. There's lots of girls that just use it on shit.
It's a snatch and grab. Like you were saying, you need to figure out when your boundaries is getting blurred and when to cash out. Like I say, look, we live in a patriarchal society. You got the sugar babies and the sugar ladies out there. I'm speaking for the women.
There's sugar mamas out there
like
too.
little Kim said, get that cash, okay? But just know when to press the eject button and when your boundaries are getting crossed. Just play it safe, ladies.
It's really hard.
Dudes.
The pressures on young people today, and people in general, like social media again, when you're looking on Instagram and you're seeing designer bags and you're seeing designer gear head to toe, and keeping up with the Joneses and keeping up with appearances is like on a whole new level nowadays. So a lot of young men and women that are engaging in these relationships are doing it just for the sake of appearances, and that's bound to crash at some point.
Well, they're paying off their university degrees in the States.
It's like the
Because
stripping of,
it started a lot
Australia,
earlier.
sugaring.
Yeah.
A lot of like international students, that's what they do to get by because they can only work 20 hours per week. So when it comes from a place where you actually need that, I get it. But when it's just for the next designer bag, like you got to be mindful of what you're doing, unless you're using it for something beneficial that's going to be a long-term investment that you can actually be sustainable for you.
So if it wasn't for your man, would you have replied to this guy on Instagram?
Well, actually, it wasn't when I was with my man, but I don't have the balls to do it. I don't have the balls.
It's so much about therapy and these, at times, more mature males who you become their therapist.
So would you do it?
Or have you done it?
I've tried to do a transaction. I can't physically do it because when I'm with people, I give my heart and soul, and I love people. And the moment I'm intimate with them, it's love for me. And the whole word of compartmentalization thing, I can't do that.
Just being there for money, because if they take the money away, does that mean your love ends?
Yeah, well,
you
it's
can't
like
do
bye-bye,
that.
it's a transaction. So why am I here? I've been curious. I've wanted to. I've put up a transaction, negotiate terms. I'm like, I can't do this.
Oh wow.
This is too emotional for me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't know what my value of my vajayjay would be. Like, what do I want for this?
And you know what I mean? It gets to that point. I'm the same with you. I just get too emotional in the whole relationship. It's not a relationship, but whatever it is the
still a
transaction.
connection.
But I would have wished I'd done it when I was younger. Because of all of the investment that I put into these fuck boys, you know, like I could have been cashed up. Exactly, but that's another story. All I'm saying is, if sugaring is for you, just make sure you have a criteria and you have your boundaries.
Set those boundaries.
And make sure you know when to press the eject button, okay? Power to
Definitely.
you.
Don't lose yourself in it, like with any relationship.